All right, hello. Welcome to episode 2 of the BBQ Chicken Live podcast. I'm here with Pablo today and only Pablo. Gucci Bob had to be out for this episode due to work, but he'll be here on the next one, hopefully. Without further ado, let me introduce what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about Eastern Conference predictions this time instead of Western. We're just going to go down and see who's been doing work, who can do work right now. Just going through the standings as of right now to see what it could potentially be.
All right, so I think since the last episode got a little crazy and all mixed up, I think we should kind of just have one bracket and just argue until we agree, or just decide that one of the teams should move on.
Okay.
We're gonna do the same thing. I do think that the Cavaliers might get jumped by the Hornets, and the Hornets might take it in the playoffs. Okay, so like I was saying, the Heat and Nets is going to be the first matchup, which is really interesting because the Heat are the first seed after grinding so hard.
Right.
A lot of people think that they're going to get bounced in the first round, and I kind of believe it. The Nets are the greatest 8th seed of all time.
Yeah, I can't argue with you there. I mean, even though the Heat are number one, they have some. I mean, they have. What do we have? They just acquired, from the Raptors, Kyle Lowry. Jeez.
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler, Nick Strauss. Although just recently, from the chemistry, obviously Jimmy Butler and my guy.
Yeah, it was Udonis Haslem.
There you go.
Told him that he would beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
And then even Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah, Eric Spoelstra got into it with Jimmy Butler, so I think their chemistry needs to be solved there, because without chemistry, you can't really do much. I mean, you can, but chemistry is a big part of that, you know?
Yeah, because they're like they're a team built around chemistry.
Right.
Like, when you see teams like LeBron with Kyrie, Kevin Love,
yeah,
sometimes they didn't have the best chemistry, but if you have that type of talent, you're going to succeed. The Warriors with Kevin Durant.
Right, yeah, I was going to go with that, too.
They pretty much hated each other, or at times hated each other, but they're so talented that it didn't matter.
Yeah,
but
and
with
then
the Heat, they aren't that talented.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but they're not as talented. They don't have a big three. Adebayo can be inconsistent at times, and Jimmy Butler is a fake superstar. I personally believe. I feel like when people saw what he did in the finals, they thought that's Jimmy Butler all the time, but that's not.
Right.
That's not always him, and I just feel like who's gonna? There's Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Bruce Brown is playing good basketball, even Andre Drummond is playing solid. I just feel like they don't have the star power to stop the Nets.
Yeah, I think with Kyrie coming back, playing home games at least, and him getting more play time, getting accustomed to playing again, he's just gonna have more of the energy, the drive to want to compete more and more, and it's Kyrie Irving. I mean, it's still Kyrie. He's dropping at least 30 points a night. For the Nets squad, not including with KD, not including with the Nets young guys. Blake, he's doing all right. Who else we got over there?
I know they have a rookie. I'm forgetting his name now.
Right, yeah, I can't think of the name, but that rookie is doing pretty solid for them as well. So I think this could be an 8th seed upset.
It's crazy because the 8th seed beating the 1 seed, it doesn't even feel like an upset.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's because you look at the Nets and KD, Kyrie, like they're at the 8th seed right now.
Yeah,
But
it's
that's just-
injuries and
injuries
they're
and
not
all that,
playing.
right? So
And we haven't even mentioned Ben Simmons.
right,
That's
right.
insane. Yeah, they have Ben Simmons. And
So they have a big three with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons not playing yet, obviously.
that's so crazy that we didn't bring him up. I
yeah.
completely forgot. That's insane because I think the Nets could beat them without Ben Simmons.
They can. Yeah.
So once they do get Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler's getting locked down, and
Yeah.
they have virtually no chance.
No one to guard.
I'm sorry, Heat fans. Like, I think the Nets got this in 5.
Yeah. I think so too. I think the Nets are gonna pull it off in 5. I think the Nets are just gonna do what they were expected to do last year, and I think they're gonna be kind of a low key, almost sleeper team. I wouldn't say sleeper
I don't know
team.
if you call them a sleeper.
Yeah, not a sleeper, but considering the standings and they're like,
I think
know,
they're
at
a walking
8th.
giant.
Well, yeah. Heat, I don't think have. They'll probably pull it off a fight, 1-2 games, but yeah, there's no way with the Nets roster that they can lose that first round.
I think they're gonna make a deep playoff push, the Nets, but
Yeah.
my only
For sure.
problem is we can't forget that Kyrie and KD aren't always available.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's one thing like that can stop the Nets is being healthy. We saw it last year. Well, James Harden isn't on the team anymore, but Kyrie wasn't playing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant,
KD.
get
I mean,
hurt.
KD alone.
KD
though.
went off, and they almost took it.
Inches, literally inches. So I mean,
And then Ben Simmons is also injury prone at times. So
right.
this Nets run could be determined on
It
how
could
healthy
be,
they can be.
Yeah, it could be really great, or it could be just very bad
Yeah. So
for the Nets.
our first matchup, we got the Nets in 5.
Nets in 5, yeah.
The second
I
matchup
agree.
seems like another wash. It's going to be the Bucks and the Cavs.
You're right.
Like I said, I mean, I love this Cavaliers team, and I feel like they're up next soon.
Definitely.
In 2 to 3 years with Evan Mobley,
Mhm.
Jared Allen, Darius Garland. They added Karis LeVert.
Yeah, Garland has been producing like
Yeah.
crazy.
It's like 25 and 12 almost every game.
Yeah.
I really think that there's only 6 games left in the season. I think the Hornets can pass the Cavaliers in a playing game, just because
Yeah.
there's no Jared Allen and Evan Mobley just went down with an ankle injury. We don't know how long he can be out.
Right. And this is crazy because looking at the standings, it looks like 7th, 8th, and 9th are pretty close. I mean, if the Hornets win their next couple games, next 4 games, Nets don't win as much, win 2 games.
The Nets can fall out of.
We can have a 3-way tie, or it's gonna be.
But I think no matter
Pretty crazy.
where the Nets end up, 7, 8, 9, or 10, I think they're gonna win their their play-in
I think so too.
matchups and make the playoffs.
I definitely think so too.
Ignoring the Hornets,
Right.
the Cavaliers and the Bucks. The matchup is pretty bad, especially
It's pretty bad.
Jared Allen. I honestly think that the Cavs would have put up a pretty good fight if they had Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, the 2 Twin Towers. They were balling out this year, and if they matched up
putting up
against
numbers.
Giannis, it would be interesting to say the least. I don't know if they would take it, but I feel like it would have been a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, I just think Giannis is just such a dominant force, and the way he produced last year, I mean, Finals MVP, 51 points, and coming back from just winning a title, that's not gonna slow them down.
Yeah, it's like Giannis is kind of getting slept on this year. With the Jokic and Embiid MVP race, people are forgetting about the Bucks.
I mean, today as in the 29th?
Yeah.
His game-saving block against Embiid, the MVP, the talk right now.
The favorite for MVP. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, defensive player, I wouldn't say, well, maybe defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
And just a dominant force all around.
Well,
so.
let's get a little bit off topic and let's discuss this MVP race.
Okay.
Who do you have? There's people saying that Devin Booker should be in the MVP race, and I know that sounds crazy, hear me out though. They have
Okay.
the best record. Look at their record. They're 61 and
do.
14. They're not
Jeez.
even close. Nobody's
Oh
even
my
close to them. And Devin Booker is the best player on the best team in the NBA. The only problem, I guess, the only argument you can make is that maybe he's not the best player. Maybe some people would say Chris Paul is the best player.
Yeah,
So-
but then again, CP hasn't been in for a majority of the games. He's been kind of out, and Devin has been
I would
kind
say
of
he hasn't been majority. I would say like he's been out like
couple
15
games. 15 games. That's a lot of games though to miss out and be called the star. I mean the
like this is a good team, and
yeah.
it's. But I don't think like John Morant. I feel like he shouldn't be in the MVP conversation because their team is doing great with him, and they're doing great without him. I think
Yeah.
they're 17-2 when he doesn't play. So I feel like that completely eliminates you from that MVP race.
Yeah, I don't think you can really be talked about unless you are carrying your team or you're just putting ridiculous numbers and helping your team win.
But yeah, I do think that Devin Booker has a case,
Yeah.
but he probably wouldn't get my vote.
I think the help Devin Booker is getting, it's just, it kind of seems like it's not just him as well.
That's true. He has a solid team.
Yeah,
around him.
he's kind of got the jaw, as you said right now, the jaw help on the backcourt.
Yeah, there's Ayton.
He's got
Jay
Ayton,
Crowder's
Crowder.
helping out.
You got the young
Mikal
guys,
Bridges.
Mikal, yeah.
Landry Shamet has been playing really good basketball, and so
Shamet's
is
a
Cameron
solid
Payne.
three.
This
Yeah,
team
Cameron Payne is also very
is
solid.
pretty scary.
Yeah.
So my final vote, I think, would be for. I just really can't differentiate Joel Embiid and Jokic's season. They're having amazing seasons,
Yeah.
and the only thing for me is that the Nuggets are the 6th seed, and the Sixers are the 4th seed. So I guess like since this race is so close, I'd probably give it to Joel just because they're.
I think Joel, he I think Joel's just looks all around the greatest. Just as of a basketball player right now, he is a big, dominating in the paint.
Plays
He's
defense.
playing good defense. He's shooting, and just knowing that he's a big and he's doing all of that, that's like, that's kind of unheard of. Like, if you go back 10 years ago, who was doing that?
Yeah.
I feel like him and Jokic are the ones that really started this.
Jokic doesn't really play as much defense.
Right, and Jokic doesn't play as much defense. Jokic is more of an assist, and he's also dominant, but I feel like Joel is just the complete package all round.
How do we not give this to Giannis? Are we just getting tired of him winning trophies?
I don't think it's that we're getting tired of him winning trophies. He's definitely a dominant force. His defense is pretty ridiculous as well. But the way Embiid is playing, he's almost averaging 50 points.
50?
He's got
like
recently.
for a couple games, a
Yeah.
couple games he'll get on a crazy stretch where he'll average like 40 points.
Yeah.
But I feel like Giannis can do that at any time also.
Yeah, it's just more about
It's hard not to give Giannis a trophy, but
it's just kind of the fact of like who he's around. Who is Joel Embiid really around? I mean, he just got Harden, right?
yeah, but before that he was playing at MVP level
with
and he
no
was
Ben
playing
Simmons.
Yeah.
You had Seth just about, and then you had
Tyrese
Maxey.
who was in his second year.
Right.
Tobias Harris,
Second
who hasn't
year.
been producing as much as you'd expect him to for how much he's getting paid.
Yeah, so you kind of look at
So that's a
that
good point.
compared to Giannis, and then
Jokic doesn't have that many people
J.
around him
Rue.
either.
Giannis, you don't think so?
No, Jokic.
Oh, Jokic.
Oh,
yeah.
Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton.
Middleton. He's got the shooters. So he's got a well-rounded. I mean, he has a finals team around him still, the same team, with additions.
So who's your final vote going to be for MVP?
For MVP, I'm gonna have to say Jokic. Sorry, no, not Jokic.
I was like, everything you just said.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna say
pointed towards
Embiid.
Joel.
I'm gonna say Embiid.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Embiid.
I think it's gonna be tight with Jokic and Embiid. It all depends, though, to be honest. This season still isn't over. We still got 6 games in the regular season.
Yeah.
So seeing how the off season turns out.
The postseason.
Yeah, the postseason. Sorry, how the postseason turns out. That's like what really solidifies an MVP race.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely Joel Embiid for me.
The top 4 seeds are really close, and let's see how these MVP candidates make their push.
Yeah.
The 76ers are 46-29, and the 1 seed. The 76ers are the 4th seed, and they're 46-29, and the Heat are the 1 seed at 48-28. So these last games are really important.
Definitely.
So let's go back to this matchup. This matchup between the Bucks and the Cavs. I feel like there's not a lot to talk about here. I feel like the Bucks are probably going to take this in 4 unless Jared Allen and Mobley come back. If they do come back, I don't think Jared Allen's projected to come back, but if they do, I'd give them 5 or 6.
Even then, I don't think the Cavs can pull it off. I'm sorry, all you Cavs fans, but I don't think you guys are going to pull it off this year. Maybe in a couple years' time, but given that the Bucks just came off winning the finals, winning the World Championship, they have the same team. They have a dominant force offensively, and the defense is also incredible. And given the fact that they've been there already, which the Cavs haven't in over
put some
6
respect
years.
on Kevin Love. He's still on that roster.
Yeah, I know.
He's going to give you 9 points a game.
K-Love,
in that playoff
yes. Yeah, 9 points a game. But he definitely, I think he definitely coaches the Cavs. Is definitely the veteran on that team. And I feel good for Kevin in the next coming years. But right now, I don't think they are the, title.
Isn't it kind of crazy that they got rid of Ricky Rubio when he was playing so good for them and they just had so much chemistry? He got hurt and now he's on the Pacers. Yeah, and it just hurts because it looked like he liked playing for the Cavs.
Yeah,
but they got Karis LeVert out of it, I believe, and we'll see what Karis can do. But yeah, end of the day, Bucks in 4, I say.
I think so too. I think it's gonna be a sweep for the Bucks.
Okay, and this next matchup.
But I'm looking forward to being proven otherwise.
Yeah, that would be
insane. That young team
Garland
wipe out the
can
Bucks.
become a superstar.
Right. Garland, crazy.
This next matchup is the Celtics and the Raptors, and I think this is kind of crazy. I feel like there's so many teams in the East, just like I said in the West, that can make a huge run. The Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, the Nets, they all are championship quality teams, and the Celtics, I think, are maybe the best team in the East. They have the best defense in the league.
They do.
They're the number 1 defense in the league, and they've been playing defense all year long, and I think they're on a 22 they've won like 22 of their past 26 games. Right. And some people are shocked by that, but you shouldn't be shocked. They've been playing defense all year, and they just learned how to score.
Yeah.
They're getting buckets. Jason Tatum's playing great. Jaylen Brown's playing great. And Al Horford's not playing some games, but he's a pretty good defender when he's out there. This team is very dangerous.
Defensive machine. Yeah, I think so too. I think the thing is, for me, I don't know if it's because we are mostly we're fans of the Western Division just because our teams are on the Western Conference.
Yeah.
But when I look at the East, I don't know, for some reason I don't really hear about the teams as much. I know Celtics are a great team. Don't get me wrong. I think they can pull it off against the Raptors. I think that's going to be a really good matchup between the two. Jaylen Brown has always been pretty solid, and I've actually I actually like Jaylen Brown a lot. He's a great scorer. He's tough in the paint. He's got solid defender, and his mid-range is pretty nice. And then you got Jason Tatum. The superstar, the young superstar.
He kind of reminds me of Kevin Durant. When he's really on it, he reminds you of Kevin Durant.
When he's really on it, it feels like he does not miss. But that's the thing as well. When he's on it.
Yeah.
Will he be on it for these last games? Will he be on it for the playoffs? I think in the playoffs he is going to show out, but it's just a matter of consistency for Jason Tatum.
I think I don't know if it was his rookie year or his second year, but when Gordon Hayward broke his leg in the first game of the season, and then Kyrie I think got injured in the playoffs.
Was it when he dunked on LeBron?
No, he went up
that year.
No, he went up for alley oop and then he fell and broke his leg. That
Right. No. Yeah. But I'm saying that year. Was it his second year that he dunked on LeBron?
Oh,
or third year, right?
Yeah. I think that was actually
Christmas game.
I think that was his
something.
rookie year, and then he bumped him in the chest.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say was
I want to see that Tatum. You know.
What I was gonna say is that team was hopeless. They lost Hayward, they lost Kyrie,
Yeah.
and they went all the way to the Eastern Conference Championship. And I think they were one game away.
And that's with Tatum and Brown.
They were one game away, and he was only like 20 years old. I don't even think he could drink at that point.
Yeah.
And he was that close to the Eastern Conference, and I don't think that people should judge him for losing that.
Definitely
they
not.
keep saying that like they keep making it, but I think if you just wait with this team, if you wait with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they're gonna get better. They're gonna get older, and I think this is one of the seasons where they can make that run. I'm taking the Celtics to beat this team in either 4 or 5. And I want to talk about the Raptors a little more because I don't want to be disrespectful, but
Yeah, let's talk about the Raptors. I feel like we're giving a lot of credit to the Celtics right now.
I think the Raptors just yesterday beat the Celtics, and Pascal Siakam dropped 40 points.
Yeah, Siakam has been their guy right now.
Him, Freddie Van Fleet,
Campaign, yeah, Van Fleet. We can't forget about Van Fleet.
Gary Trent Jr.
Trent Jr. as well.
He
forgot
almost
about
leads
that.
the league in steals.
So,
He's a great shooter. But he's a streaky one.
Yeah.
Raptors
are pretty
Scotty
good
Barnes
defensively.
looks like he's the future too. Scotty Barnes looks amazing, and he's one of my favorite rookies right now. I think the third in Rookie of the Year voting, probably in my opinion, I would do Cade, Evan Mobley, Barnes.
Yeah.
Barnes can do it all. He can play defense. He could pass the ball. He could rebound the ball. Not a great shooter, but that'll probably come in time.
Yeah, it's all about time with that. You know, being in the league, what, a year, 2 years?
This is his first year.
First year, so
We're talking about the Rookie of the Year voting.
I'm sorry. It just flew by me, but that's just with time. It'll get better. Practicing, getting in the gym. That's how it is. But yeah, I think it's gonna be tight. I think it's gonna be a very close matchup. And I think we're gonna be seeing all the way maybe to Game 7. If not, I got the Celtics in 6. I'd say.
I think we're just pretty far off. I really do think that the Celtics are gonna wash this team. I think it might be a 4-0 sweep.
Okay. 4-0 sweep.
All right, I'll give them 5. They have talent.
Yeah.
They have championship experience, like you said.
Right.
Nick Nurse is a great coach. I'm really confident with how the
their
Celtics
time.
are playing.
Their time this year.
Yeah, look, I don't know what's next if it's not their time.
Yeah.
I'm happy they're not the 1 seed right now. I hope they don't end up in the 1 seed because the Celtics and Nets matchup would be insane. And I don't want to see that in the first round. I want to see these teams go far in the playoffs because I think this team that matchup could be the Eastern Conference Championship, and I don't want to see that in the first round. Yeah, I'm going Celtics in 4.
It's crazy when we look at the standings
Celtics
right
in
now
5,
as well. Oh yeah, Celtics in 5 for Pablo. It's crazy looking at the standings right now, knowing there's 6 games left from our date right now, and so much can change in the 6 days.
That's true. Yeah.
So, just like we said, I believe on last podcast, our whole bracket could change, but as of now.
Some of these matchups might stay the same.
Yeah,
and
they might
It's
stay the
not.
same.
It's just interesting hearing these matchups because if they don't happen in the first round, they can happen in the second round. They can happen in the conference finals.
Most definitely.
So we'll move on to the Sixers and the Bulls.
So
the Bulls are probably the biggest pretenders. Like when the season started, the Bulls were like the #1 team. Everybody was terrified.
Yeah,
And we were seeing DeMar DeRozan's MVP campaign,
being a
and
very
things have
dominant
just
team.
been
Just downhill from since then, I think.
yeah, like DeMar DeRozan's still a hooper. He's still really good.
But just the losses.
They haven't. Yeah, Lonzo's been out for a while, and Alex Caruso was out for a while. But do you mean losses by their injuries, or like they keep losing games?
Injuries and as well as games. I mean, games also play a big part, obviously, in the standings.
Did you know that they haven't won a game against a top 3 seed in either conference? They're I think 0-14.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
That's if I were a Bulls fan, that concerned me a lot because I mean, if you're
going to face a top 3 seed.
Yeah, you're going to. So it's just a matter of can you guys, can you prepare for that? Are you guys really prepared for that? And just like we said before, playoffs is a whole nother level of NBA competition. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I in my opinion, I don't think the Bulls can advance against Embiid, Harden,
Tyrese Maxey
and Maxey.
Harris.
Yeah, Tobias too. Yeah,
I think the Bulls fans are really holding on to Lonzo Ball.
I think
they're
so
hoping
too.
that that's their saving grace.
I think
they're just like, please come back, please clap
no
Harden.
offense, but
I think that they
that's
think that Lonzo's coming back and he's gonna shut down Harden and like. I mean, that's going to be fun to watch if you think about it. Lonzo playing defense on Harden.
Lonzo is a great defender.
And then when Lonzo goes to the bench, you put Alex Caruso on Harden. Like,
yeah, it's going to be...
And we know how Harden tends to perform in the playoffs. And that plus the tough defense, they can even throw... No, yeah, I don't know. This is kind of tough. Because, yeah, I guess if you shut down Harden, you still have to stop... Joel Embiid with Nikola Vucevic, and that's not going to happen. So I'll give this to the 76ers, and I'll give it to them in 6 games. So that's pretty good. I just really feel like the Bulls have solid defenders coming soon, and I feel like they can put up a kind of a fight.
I definitely think so, too.
But I do have the 76ers, and...
Yeah, I think I have the 76ers on top as well. DeMar is playing amazing. If Lonzo comes back and he is that missing piece for the Bulls, defensively shutting down James Harden, they might even double with to Embiid. But yeah, Vucevic against Embiid, I don't think Embiid is gonna have a problem with that. Needless to say, and yeah, I just feel like. With Embiid being the MVP runner and the people he has around him, as well as Seth. I feel like we haven't talked about Seth.
Seth's not on the 76ers anymore.
Oh, that's right.
He got traded to
the Nets, right?
Yeah.
So never mind, scratch that. But yeah, James Harden, Embiid, Tobias Harris. I feel like Tobias doesn't get talked about enough on the Sixers. He is a key part of that team. And he kind of sets the tone for the guys. He's not the greatest, but he's not the worst. He's like the middleman in the team.
Yeah,
to say the least.
He's a solid third option at times, and yeah, I feel like people forget about him, and hopefully he can remind people that he was a solid player. He was almost all-star level player.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Hopefully he produces in the playoffs, and
I feel like he's second to Maxey right now.
Yeah, it's him and Maxey as the third or fourth guy. So yeah, that'll be the first round, right?
That'll be the first round. All right, we are back.
We got things figured out.
Yeah, we just had to make a little
bracket. The first matchup we're going to talk about is the Nets and the 76ers, which is an insane matchup.
Woohoo! I think that's the matchup that we are going to be waiting for.
Yeah, it's probably the best matchup.
The most probable,
the beef,
I think.
They have so much beef going on with Ben Simmons, and James Harden didn't want to be there. Like,
The tension will be
Both
there.
these teams have something to prove.
Definitely. I think Philadelphia is gonna be on breathing on the neck of Mr. Ben Simmons. Just like last game, I think. Weren't they doing that in New York or something?
Anytime he touched the ball, he wasn't even playing.
Aside from that, though, looking at the roster and the teams, yeah, this is gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be just stacked with superstars
Yeah,
and storylines. What do you?
it's gonna look like a mini All-Star game, to say the least.
Who do you have in this matchup?
It's tough to say. Man, it's really tough to say. I can't even really think about it.
Yeah, no matter who I pick, I'm not going to feel confident in it because both
Right.
teams can come out on top.
Exactly.
I personally have the 76ers pulling this off in 7, and that's just me trusting Joel Embiid. But when I say that, how can I not trust Kevin Durant? It's
Yeah.
difficult, but I really like Joel Embiid. I like the way he's been producing.
Mhm.
James Harden, I'm a fan. I love James Harden, and I hope he can pull this off. I hope he can stop the doubters from doubting him. I hope James Harden pulls this off, but it's going to be tough playing against Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons.
Definitely.
I feel like the matchup, if they put Kevin Durant or Ben Simmons on James Harden, it's crazy the defense he has to play in these first 2 rounds. He's going to be playing Lonzo, Caruso, Durant, and Ben Simmons. It's going to be tough, but I think I'll take the 76ers in 7.
I gotta agree. 76ers, and man, I am also a fan of Harden. I would love to see him get past the second round, and actually show his name, and kind of, as we have our Kevin Durant's, the Steph Curry's, the LeBron James. I want to see a James Harden,
Yeah,
I want to see that guy.
He's
produce.
a Hall of Famer already, but if he has
Right.
a ring on this, he can be even more of an all-time great.
Definitely.
But he has to go against Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons. It's gonna be tough.
As I mentioned those names, one of them is Kevin Durant. Yeah, he has to go up against Kevin Durant as well as Kyrie. Kyrie is one of those guys. So it's going to be tough going up against that squad. And the Nets are pretty good. I think they just have to figure out a couple things defensively. I feel like with some teams, they kind of get pushed over. They're kind of like getting bullied at times. And then there's times where they are producing offensively and just going crazy. It's kind of unpredictable. But I think the 76ers, they are playing well defensively. You have an MVP contender. You have James Harden, who's already won one, yeah. And we have yet to see Ben Simmons play, bringing that back, because
that's the Nets.
Oh, man, why? I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but yeah, I think Embiid with Harden, that duo is.
It's one of the greatest duos of all time, right?
Yeah.
It's funny though because it feels like every year we're saying this. It's the greatest duo of all
Yeah.
time. Anthony Davis with LeBron,
Yeah.
Kevin Durant with Curry, Kevin Durant with Kyrie, Kevin Durant with Harden, all the people he plays with.
I think that's the thing though.
There's always the next greatest duo, and
yeah, and I think that's the thing with duos. I don't really know the stats, but that's kind of crazy that you mentioned LeBron and AD, because when they got together, first year they win a ring together.
Yeah.
How is Harden? I mean, we obviously see Harden and Embiid playing exceptionally well with each other. But like we've mentioned before, playoffs time is a different breed. I feel like I feel kind of bad for Embiid because Embiid has always been inches away from getting to the finals as well.
Yeah, they had the game with Jimmy Butler and Ben Simmons, where Kawhi Leonard hit that game.
Yeah.
Winner,
So
game 7 to make it to the conference championships.
literally, yeah,
And they started
inches
crying.
away. But then we have also literally inches away with Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and the Nets squad.
So they also want it just as bad.
This is gonna be an all-out brawl between the two.
Who do you even have?
Probably going to a game 7, and to be honest, with what we're looking at right now, I believe the Nets just lost, right?
Yeah, they lost to LaMelo.
They just lost. I
and
think
the Hornets.
Yeah, so I feel like right now, coming towards the end of the regular season, you can't afford to lose games at this moment, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I think that kind of shows kind of the mindset where you're at. Like, are you really trying to win? Are you really trying to show something?
The Nets had Kyrie and KD, and they were at home, and they lost to a team that's out of the top 8 seeds. That's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. So, we just have to see come playoffs time. I my heart tells me Nets, but my mind is telling me Sixers.
So, what do you got the Sixers in?
I give the Sixers in 7.
All right.
Game 7.
So we'll move on to the next matchup, which will be the Celtics and the Bucks.
I think we know where we're gonna go with this. At least I think it might be just a sweep for the Bucks.
Wow. I think you're completely off base. For me, I think the Celtics win this in 7 games.
So Celtics in 7. Okay.
Which
okay.
it's disrespectful for me to no for me to say that the Bucks are gonna lose this. The Bucks have proven it. The Bucks have everybody back. Giannis he could end up being the greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
But I guess I just believe that Jason Tatum is gonna make that leap. I believe that this team can play that defense, and they have Williams, Time Lord, playing great defense for them. Al Horford.
Yeah.
I feel like they have the defense to bother Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I feel like they do have the defense. It's just a matter of, again with chemistry. How is the chemistry there?
I feel like it's fine because you have players that have been together for a while. Al Horford, he was traded and he came back and he's been there for a while.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum.
Smart, yeah.
Tatum, and Brown have been together in multiple playoff runs. They know each other really well, and it's tough for me to say that the Bucks lose this. I can easily see a world where the Bucks win this. But my final prediction is going to be Celtics. I love the Celtics. I love what they've been doing. I believe in this push that they've made. I think that this is going to be a huge year for Boston.
So you say the Celtics move on?
I say the Celtics go to the conference finals, yep.
Okay. You know what? I kind of, once you were bringing up points like that, I kind of think about last year and how the Bucks really almost got eliminated by inches. So now kind of looking at that.
4? You'll give them 1 game?
I'll give them, I'll say a game 6.
Yeah.
Game 6 Bucks. But yeah, with the performance the Bucks did last year, by almost losing it by inches, granted, by arguably one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
But you have 2 superstars there. If you include Marcus Smart as well on the Celtics.
You can't consider Marcus Smart a superstar. He's a role player.
He's a role player.
I don't think I would consider Jaylen Brown a superstar either, because I think
not a superstar. He's definitely a star.
I think Jason Tatum.
Is a superstar for sure. But there's just something about the Sixers team that.
Bucks.
Oh my goodness. It's kind of late, but yeah, I mean the Bucks. There's something about the Bucks team Given that last year they won the championship, and they looked more dominant in the finals, I think, than when they were in the playoff run. I think they looked more powerful playing in the finals against the number one seed this year in the Western Conference.
Yeah, by far. They're the best team in basketball right now, by far. They're 61-14. The closest is 53-23.
Yeah, so given that...
And they won 4 straight games against them in the finals.
Right, yeah. So, I think the Bucks can pull it off. I think the Bucks are gonna make it again.
Okay, so that puts us
they'll get past the Celtics.
So that'll put us in the conference finals.
So
my matchup would be Celtics Sixers, and your matchup would be Bucks and Sixers. We'll do my matchup first, which would be the Celtics and the 76ers.
Sixers, right.
This is hard for me because I've been fighting for these teams all day long, but I ultimately believe I don't know what I feel yet. These teams match up really well. This is going to be a great series. It'll go to 7 games, and I think I have to go with Boston. As hard as it is.
Wow.
For me to not give this to James Harden and Joel Embiid.
I feel like with the points you were making earlier, I feel like you're rooting for the Celtics this year.
But I'm rooting for the Sixers just as much. It's
right.
Just when I see this, I think Williams can put a body on Embiid and bother him a little bit. Horford's known for bothering Embiid a little bit. I just think that the role players on the Celtics are great. Their bench is playing great. Everybody plays defense. They're a great team, and I think the Sixers are too. They have great role players also, but I just believe in the Celtics this year. I think Jason Tatum makes this run where we're going to start looking at him as more than just a star. We'll see him as a top 3, top 4, top 5 player.
Okay.
I am... Just like Giannis last year, we always saw Giannis as a superstar, but we were just waiting for him to get his ring, and I feel like it's time for Tatum to get close to getting his ring. We'll see how we feel about our ultimate finals matchup.
Yeah.
But if you were to put this matchup together, Celtics 76ers, where would you go with it?
For me, you have a point with Jason Tatum kind of being that superstar and solidifying that superstar title, so to speak. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like with him getting that ring, it'll solidify that. It just comes down to how will he perform, and can he perform?
Joel Embiid,
yeah, do they have an answer for Joel Embiid and Harden? I think the defense on the Celtics, I think, like I've mentioned, needs a little bit of work. Offensively, they're
the number 1 defense.
Yeah, just recently. I'm talking in terms of recently. They are number 1 defense. So you can't argue with stats on defensively.
Yeah.
So I mean, and defense does win games. So we could be looking at a if this happens, this would be an insane matchup. Can they stop Harden and Joel Embiid? They probably can.
Yeah, that's hard to say though.
It is hard. It is hard to say.
They
They
pretty
can
much
definitely
lead the league in getting foul calls because they're just impossible to guard. I hate when people say like they just draw too many fouls. Well, stop fouling them. They're too good. That's one of the reasons why they get so many fouls. Is they're so good.
Yeah. So
I know I say Boston, but I feel like there's a strong case for the 76ers because
there definitely is.
Stopping those 2 players is pretty much impossible for a whole 7-game series.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the Celtics can do something with Harden at least, because Harden isn't. I feel like Harden sometimes has pretty bad off nights.
There's kryptonite to Harden.
Yeah, there's kryptonite to Harden. As
Someti-
to where Embiid is just unstoppable right now.
Yeah.
And I think the Celtics need an answer for majorly Embiid right now rather than Harden.
So who would you take in this series?
I would say, man, if the Celtics have an answer for Embiid, the Celtics could get this with a fight. I think the Celtics can take it with a fight. But I just feel like the Sixers are pretty dominant offensively. It's gonna be a pretty good matchup. It's literally offense against defense.
Yeah.
So, that being said, defense does win a majority of the games. So, it's kind of tight. I would probably give Celtics Game 7.
Okay.
If this were my pick.
Okay, so we'll go to
That's
Bucks.
tough for me to say though. Like it's not an
Yeah.
easy decision whatsoever.
So we'll go to Bucks and 76ers. And I'll let you start off.
This is the same thing. This is just such a tough decision to even think about.
The dominance, the clash of Joel Embiid and Giannis.
The clash of dominance. And also, I think this just is another matchup of defense versus offense.
Yeah, the Bucks are one of the best defensive teams. They have Giannis and they have the best defending point guard in the league in Drew Holiday.
Yeah, Drew Holiday, and
Dude,
then you
all
have
the people
Middleton, a
we've
great
put
shooter
Harden
and
against.
defensive leader.
I'm gonna count them again. We've put Harden against Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball, Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, and now in the finals he'll be guarded by Drew Holiday, the best point guard defender in the league.
So
We have to go through everything. And if he gets locked down by anybody, he's going to be known as a playoff choker. That's just what's so tough about the playoffs.
yeah,
You're going to get tough matchups, but that's what we expect from a superstar. You have to fight through those matchups.
Yeah, if you want to be known as a superstar, you have to go through the hardest competitors, through the toughest of people. And if you want to solidify that, I mean, you have to go through the best. It's just tough, man.
I would probably take the Bucks in this series. I think just because Drew, Middleton, Giannis, I feel like that's enough for. They match up well. They match up well because you're talking about
definitely
Giannis and Embiid, and Drew and Harden, and then Maxey and Middleton. I just feel like since the Bucks have been there before,
I think so too. I think it's a thing of being there. Experience definitely plays a part. And I know I say this a lot, but them being there, them just coming from being the world champions, having nearly the same squad that they had last year, the same chemistry. I feel like nothing's changed for the Bucks in a good way. They still have everything there. I think they're comfortable. As to where the Celtics, there's just
the 76ers.
Oh my god, been all off this. It's because I was on your pick.
Yeah.
But no, the Bucks and the Sixers. Sixers are so good though too. It's so tough to even try to decide. But yeah, we talk about a team being there, experience. 76ers. Have Joel Embiid and have Harden. Can Harden really produce? Harden has those very low lows at times. And I feel like they can stop Embiid. Well, I wouldn't say they would completely stop Embiid.
Doing with Giannis, they can.
Yeah, but with Giannis,
Brook
Lopez, Middleton. I think Lopez left, didn't he?
No, he's there.
He's there?
Yeah, he just came back from injury about a couple games ago.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I think, yeah, Lopez is a great defender as well. So, with Lopez and Giannis, Drew, I feel like they do have an answer for Joel. It's not going to be easy, but they do have some sort of answer. And with Harden I think can also be slowed down. And he's kind of unpredictable right now. You don't know if he either has a really great game, an average night, or he goes just very bad.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to give it to the Bucks.
Yeah, I'll do Bucks in 6.
Bucks in 6, yeah, definitely.
So that's pretty much it for my prediction. I have the Celtics making the championship against Denver, and you have the Bucks
And I
going
have
to the
the
championship
Bucks
against
against
State.
Golden State.
Hearing
Wow.
my prediction be Celtics and Denver makes me a little uncomfortable. Both those teams feel like something that nobody's talking about, but
I think looking at that prediction, it's
it seems far fetched. I'm a little worried about that one. If it's not Denver, then it's gonna be Phoenix.
I think definitely.
So that's
gonna
my
be
backup.
Phoenix.
That's my backup plan.
Okay.
If it's not Celtics and Denver, I'm going Celtics and Phoenix.
Right, and if it's not the Warriors, I obviously think it's gonna be Phoenix as well. Hey, we could be seeing finals of last year be repeated again.
Oh,
In
yeah.
all honesty.
Yeah, the Bucks
In all honesty.
and Phoenix. Yeah, that. Yeah, those teams have been dominating. They could both end up being the first seed.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, we'll talk about who we think are gonna win those matchups on the next episode.
Yeah. So
We can close this out.
thank you for tuning in for episode 2. We will be back. I think next time we'll be talking about who we think is gonna go to the finals.
Yeah. Oh, no, we just said that.
Well, we did.
who thinks gonna win it?
Yeah. Who we think is gonna win the finals. And we'll be coming back with more
NBA content?
little NBA content here and
Maybe
there.
NFL make some. Maybe we might talk about the NFL draft coming up soon. So
Yeah, definitely. And
definitely stay tuned.
Definitely stay tuned. If you want, I'm not forcing you to hit that subscribe button, but definitely do. You won't be disappointed.
Like button.
Hit a like. And
Thank you.
let us know what you think about these episodes. Thank you, and have
let
a
us
good
know.
one.
Yeah, let us know if we're casuals. Let us know if you disagree with us. Let us know if
Give
you
us
agree
your
with
opinions.
us.
That's what's great about the internet. Give us your opinions.
Make us feel stupid.
Yeah, definitely. All right, that's it for us. Pablo, Eric, Barbecue Chicken Live. See ya.
Yep.
Peace.